This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Well, come on. It is Friday. It is First Alert Weather Breakdown time, and it's the end of the work week, which means the end of the streak of episodes of First Alert Weather Breakdown, yes, but the weekend is ahead. I'm smiling. Sorry, this is also always the last thing that I'm essentially do as a part of my shift as well on Friday, so 30 minutes and I'm on the weekend. But hey, that doesn't mean that I won't make the most of this time and spend some time with you guys breaking down the weather forecast. Hello, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and hope you're having a fantastic day. And for today, we got lots to get over and lots to get to. We have a soaked 7-day forecast here overall in the Arklatex. That is giving us first of all, it's only giving us rain. For those of you wanting snow, nope, that is not going to be happening at all with any of the systems coming on by here. Starting on Sunday and heading into next work week, that's when we're getting pretty much the bulk of our rain showers. So enjoy the sunshine today before that is gone for quite a while, actually. We'll, again, go over that further in the 7-day forecast. One little topic I want to go over real quick is, you remember the snow? Obviously, everybody does. The snow that happened south of here in New Orleans on Tuesday, 3 days ago. Well, I wanted to update two things on that story. Number one, we had, thankfully, a good amount of roads opening up down south in South Louisiana finally at the end of yesterday, and more of them are opening up this morning as well across I-10. And also across the causeway, which goes across Lake Pontchartrain as well, in areas of South Louisiana down by New Orleans. But overall, I know I-10 was closed as much from the Louisiana-Texas border all the way to Baton Rouge, which is a huge span of mileage. Thankfully, all of that has opened back up. That in particular has opened back up, and many roads are continuing to open up today as we have good help also. Not only are we warming up here locally in the Arklatex, but we're also warming up many areas around us as well. We're going to talk about that in the regional travel forecast, which we'll talk about as our exclusive content here today on our First Alert Weather Breakdown. Second thing I wanted to get to, kind of a cool note, actually. Well, cool to think about. It's not so great for those of you that are involved with this. Over in Ireland and the UK, all the way, yes, in England and Europe, or again, just England and Ireland to be specific, those two islands are getting hit by the equivalent of a hurricane. They don't call it a hurricane. In fact, it's called Storm Eowyn, I think it's called. I think it's spelled E-O-W-Y-N is how it's spelled. I actually don't know how it's pronounced. They just call it Storm Eowyn. It's essentially, though, almost a hurricane. It gave Ireland winds up to 115 miles an hour early this morning. And England not far behind that as well. Just so you know, that wind as well that was recorded of 115 miles an hour on the island of Ireland, the strongest winds ever recorded on that island. Impressive. The reason I'm also going into this, and the also amount of power outages that happened from that all across those two nations, is that is the same exact storm that gave New Orleans and Florida its snow. A very impressive one, made its way eastward across the Atlantic, and now it just hit Europe early this morning with lots of very strong winds. No snow anymore, but immense amount of rainfall and kind of hurricane-like conditions against that island, which, again, they've never seen before. It's basically putting a Cat 2 or Cat 3 hurricane on Maine. You know, you put something that strong on, yes, a tropical area, but it's not a place that really doesn't see any certain hurricanes, so to speak, at all. So very impactful over there, and just a very intriguing story here overall. If you have a chance to, we won't go to it. We'll actually go into it a little more on Monday's episode. I wanted to do that. Today, I would just kind of want to go over a regional travel forecast, especially with New Orleans and South Louisiana finally opening back up. Monday, we're going to go a little more into that, though. I find that very intriguing, and we're going to go into that first alert weather breakdown. Again, we use this platform to go beyond just what you typically see here in the Arklatex weather-wise. We go in-depth also about Arklatex weather, yes, but we also go in-depth about everything happening around the nation, some national weather headlines. Next week's Met Chat, which I'll go ahead and pinpoint right now, is about the California wildfires, which are finally getting some relief this weekend with some rain for the first time in ages. Good news for those areas, finally getting rain on both Saturday and Sunday in Southern California and LA. But it might be too much. And what I mean by too much is when your soil is rock solid, it's hard to slam water down into there. It doesn't absorb it as much. So it might lead to landslides, the opposite end of the spectrum of problems for that area. As some residents over there are actually loading up with some sandbags like you do for hurricanes and storm surge, which quite incredible. So lots of things going on in the weather world. But let's go over what we're going here specifically. I know I kind of tailored to many different tangents about national weather outlets, but some big headlines, honestly, overall in store here for today. We go over our local forecast here. Every first alert weather breakdown. Today's is filled with lots of rain. We'll get into why and when that's expected exactly coming on up. In addition to that, our exclusive content in for today is going to be a regional travel forecast. Essentially what we do there is go over spots beyond the Arklatex. If you're traveling northward into Arkansas, if you're traveling westward into Dallas, if you're going southward, maybe most importantly down in New Orleans, where they still have snow down there. Yes, 3 days later. And then also, if you're going over eastward, over to Mississippi, maybe Georgia, Alabama, anywhere around there, we try to give you a forecast for those of you kind of just making a quick weekend getaway for the next 2 to 3 days. So, yeah, we'll go over that coming up all after our, again, local forecast, which starts right now up first. Beautiful day in store for today. We've seen plenty of these kind of shots all week long, but take this one with a little bit of a grain of salt, per se. You want to make sure you make the most of today overall because, again, the rest of our forecast here upcoming is going to be soaked, absolutely soaked. So, nice pristine blue skies on our window row camera in Texarkana. Same thing with Mattress Plus Skycam into Shreveport, too. It is a tremendous Friday. Temperatures, a little chilly out, but certainly not as cold as this morning. 41 in Shreveport, 40 in Texarkana, 43 in Natchitoches, 32 in Queen. Overall, here's your main weather headlines. Been kind of going over this a little bit this morning, but want to hone in on this a little bit in the pen and paper and get it written out for you and right here on your screen. We got one last day of full sunshine. This doesn't mean we're not seeing the sun at all over the next 7 days, but this is probably the last day of where you're just seeing blue skies and sunshine, period. We're going to have lots of cloud cover probably over the span of the next 6 days, with half of those days looking like they're going to be filled with rain potentially all day long. So we're going to be hanging around with a very wet forecast. Again, most of that starts on Sunday. For tomorrow, we introduce the cloud cover back, and it's especially going to be mostly cloudy by tomorrow afternoon for your Saturday afternoon. That could actually lead into a few chances of some stray showers late on Saturday. We'll get to that in just a little bit, a little more exclusively. And we got plenty more rain coming here for next work week, too. Just so you know, before I go further into this forecast, I know I've mentioned this from time to time, but I want to mention it one more time again. If you're on our YouTube platform, KSLA News 12, you can always ask questions about this forecast at any point. It helps drive the conversation, helps make this not just me talking to the camera and no one talking back to me, but, making it kind of a two-way conversation. I always love to talk about weather. It's not just like a side talk for me, like the dinner table. But anyways, yes, let's get back to it. Stationary front. That's what's on top of us here for the weekend, more specifically for Sunday. That's when we're expecting scattered showers and widespread rain storms here pretty much throughout the day on Sunday. We got to have some pockets of heavy rainfall, but that's all we're really expecting severe weather-wise. I'm not expecting a chance of tornado. I'm not expecting some strong winds at all to roll on through, which is good news for you. At least the rain won't affect that. But it could rain for a lengthy period of time, I will say. So if there's anything that could be on the table for this weekend, it could be a little chances of flash flooding. So watch out for that. Future track. Not only does this track onto storms, this also tracks cloud cover. Do you see any cloud cover anywhere around the Arklatex throughout the day on Friday? No. Well, consider this day to be a lucky one because, again, the cloud cover is going to start rolling in come time Saturday. And it's going to start with maybe a stray few showers kind of sprinkled here and there with some light drizzles late on Saturday. Look at the time, 11 p.m. This pretty much starts anywhere around 8, 9 o'clock, it looks like, according to many and multiple of our future tracks here. Cloud cover is going to start to build up pretty much around lunchtime, so you could still probably catch a few good peaks of some sunshine here for Saturday morning before that cloud cover really takes over. And then once we get into Sunday early morning, then it starts. You almost see consistent rounds of rain just not letting go and not easing up around the Arklatex throughout the day on Sunday, especially if you're in the southern half of the Arklatex. Now, everybody's going to get rain here from Sunday. I will say the southern half is looking more likely to get a more abundant amount of rainfall overall, and some of that could even creep into Monday early morning too, especially around Natchitoches. Now, this is a different future track, a different model, but this mainly looks at the long-term future of things. So this will give us an idea for our rain next week. I know this also, yes, starts out on Friday, just to give you one more idea of an overview. Again, our rain coverage starts early on Sunday, continues throughout the day on Sunday, and maybe even into Monday morning. But watch what happens early this week. Monday, yes, we have a stray few showers possible in the morning before being mostly dry for the afternoon, but you notice the cloud cover still hangs around in the atmosphere for your Monday afternoon. That could even creep into your Tuesday with some stray chances of some showers in through Tuesday. All that leads to, guess what? Another round of scattered storms in on Wednesday, some of that even continuing on into Thursday, too. So watch out for that, and that's what makes it kind of a rainy work week overall, as we have rain chances each and every day next work week. I know the day of which contains the greatest rainfall coverage across the Arklatex is certainly going to be Wednesday. Around here. Now, rainfall potential over the next 3 days. This is essentially just the rain that we're expecting from Sunday alone. And again, as I pinpointed, most of that's going to be in the southern half of the Arklatex. So for the northern half, it's only a quarter to a half an inch of rain. Meanwhile, the southern half of the Arklatex expecting rain totals up to an inch, if not more, in some areas around the southern edge of the Arklatex around Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. But overall, everybody, if you look at this whole rainfall potential map, everybody will be getting some amount of rainfall in on the day on Sunday, period, okay? And then we head into next week, and again, when you combine that with the rain that we're getting from Wednesday and the potential stray showers that we'll see throughout next week, you're totaling all of that up to as much as 3 to 4 inches of rain between Sunday, when that starts, through Thursday. So within a span of 4 to 5 days, we're looking at, yes, 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, first of all. And guess what? Beyond 7 days, we have more rain potentially coming in for Friday and Saturday of next week. So again, the best way to describe our forecast is an absolute soaker. 55 at Texarkana today. High temperatures today. Temperatures overall over the next couple of days. I know we've been exclusively talking about the conditions and the rain, but temperatures are pretty much not changing much here for the most part over the next several days. There will be little fluctuations that will go over the 7-day forecast, but at least for today, 55 in Texarkana, 54 in New Boston, 53 in Foreman. These are pretty much high temperatures, similar to what you felt outside yesterday. 55 in Carthage, 56 in Nacogdoches, in Northwest Louisiana, 53 in Shreveport, 55 in Natchitoches, 52 in Homer. So for the weekend, you got anything you needed to get done outside, get it done tomorrow rather than Sunday. Maybe that includes traveling around, so you don't have to travel on some soaked, wet roads with continuous rainfall in throughout most of the day on Sunday. So overall, hustle and bustle around the town here for tomorrow, and relax and stay inside here for your Sunday. I think 2 polar opposite kind of days here. One that has 0% chance of rain, the other that has 80 in the Arklatex. Highs slightly do increase here for tomorrow, 59 degrees, again, compared to highs in the low to mid-50s here for today. But overall, we could carry on those 50s all the way into the start of next work week. We could reach highs into the lower 60s here for Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Speaking of Wednesday, that's our next chance of scattered showers coming back in the Arklatex. And some of that could be filled into Thursday. Some of that could also be filled into Tuesday. And remember, round 3 of scattered storms also comes into the region here for Thursday and Friday of for Friday and Saturday of next week. So count your blessings while we have some dry days ahead, including today. One last thing of note that's a little bit of an underlier of the 7-day forecast is look at the low temperatures for every morning. I know every morning this past week was bitter cold, especially on Wednesday. Wednesday was our coldest morning. Remember those feels like temperatures getting down to the single digits and for a good portion of the region. It stayed cold this morning. It's going to stay cold again for tomorrow morning with a low of 32 degrees for Saturday morning. But then watch what happens on Sunday morning. Once we bring back in the rain and the cloud cover, that's going to keep us a lot more on the warmer side of things. Starting Sunday morning with lows only getting down to the 40s, there's some days in the middle of next week where our temperatures in the mornings only get down to the lower 50s. So overall, pretty mild temperatures here for the morning, especially for winter into next work week. So those of you that have been hating these kind of bitter cold mornings and walking out to the car and having to warm that up well before you get out the door, well, thankfully it won't be as bad heading into next work week. All right, that was a look at your local forecasts. Coming up next, we'll go over the regional travel forecast, look beyond the Arklatex and see what New Orleans is expecting, certainly after the snow, and see what other places are expecting for those of you traveling out this weekend. We'll be back right after this. All right, we'll go back to First Alert with a breakdown. Again, we're made it to Friday. We're going to start traveling around soon. I might find a way to get out around the region here. One of the things I do is love to travel. Hopefully you do too. Those of you looking to get a weekend away outside of the Arklatex, we have our forecast here for you right here, right now. Obviously, the biggest story from this past week regionally has been the immense amount of snow. I mean, you could call it the story of the year, story even of the century. You go that far, since it hasn't snowed that much in New Orleans and areas off to our south in quite some time. Incredible. Truly incredible. It's been sunny since that system down there in New Orleans, and it continues to remain that way, even in store here for the day today. There you see the abundant sunshine in the Arklatex, and you can see why we see that sunshine in the Arklatex. Overall, we don't have any cloud cover unless you're looking all the way over towards Denver, all the way up into Iowa, or all the way east with a little bit of cloud cover rolling through Florida and Georgia right now. Overall, there's nothing around regionally in the Arklatex out towards Dallas. Nothing. We got some clouds leaving New Orleans, and we're clearing up all across Arkansas and Mississippi. overall, which since nothing's around us here for the next several days and nothing's around us on our radar here locally, we should be fine here for the next few days. With it's going to take some time to get that rain in here locally into the Arklatex here for your Sunday. So let me peel back my face here, on camera that is, not literally. Let's go to that future track and let me show you the whole regional outlook here. For tonight, it's still a nice, mostly clear night. Might introduce a little bit of cloud cover. Just like we are in Shreveport across Saturday, we're getting a little more cloud cover across the region overall in throughout the day on Saturday, but still by Saturday afternoon, even though it looks a little more gloomy and number of spots around here, it looks like we're not going to face much chances of rain in throughout pretty much the bulk of Saturday, which is good to at least enjoy one day of the weekend. Problems arise here locally in the Arklatex when it comes to Sunday, first thing in the morning, and that rain extends outside of the Arklatex and even hits some areas around Houston and southeast Texas, especially with pockets of heavy rain developing, especially for the afternoon. And most of that continues around Shreveport. I don't think it appears like most of that's not going to attack areas like Dallas and areas around New Orleans, Little Rock, and Jackson if you're headed outside the region around there. Heading into Sunday night and even into Monday morning, some of that rain kind of falters away and starts to move a little farther eastward out towards Mississippi. Some of that could even hit New Orleans as well. Point is, away from Dallas. Those of you enjoying Dallas, Little Rock this weekend, should be a beautiful weekend overall, minus a little bit of the cloud cover. And yeah, once we get into Tuesday, there's potential more rain for areas around the Arklatex like Dallas into the middle of next week. So let's put that into pen and paper with some numbers here for you and some certain conditions overall. Dallas, currently 45 degrees, 31 in Little Rock, a lot colder around there. New Orleans is 46, temperatures around 40 in Monroe and Jackson. Plentiful sunshine for everybody, mind you, across the region here for the day today. Now, I was going to say just for here right now, but that is the case in throughout the day today, especially, again, with nothing around us here locally. Highs reach up to 59, though, in Dallas. A lot greater temperatures out to our west in Texas, 57 in Houston. A little cooler into Jackson, high of 47 only today. Only high of 50 today in New Orleans, although that high still well above freezing will help to melt a good amount of that snowfall in and around there. I know this doesn't say it, but this is the next day. This is for Saturday. Again, this is our day where our cloud cover starts to build up, especially across Texas, around Dallas and Houston. Still finding some partly cloudy skies and throughout New Orleans and Monroe. But overall, most of the region still stays dry for Saturday. Not only dry, but notice a warming trend. We here in the Arklatex are going from highs in the low to mid 50s up to the mid to upper 50s here for tomorrow. Other areas kind of follow similar suit. 62 could potentially be found in Dallas further out west. 65 in Houston for the afternoon. 57 for New Orleans and Little Rock. And then problems arise once we head into Sunday. As far as expecting thunderstorms and more pockets of heavier rainfall out towards Houston, we could get still a good amount of storms here locally in the Arklatex throughout the day, but again, nothing severe. I think the only severe weather aspect potentially with this whole system as a whole regionally is going to be out towards Houston with the thunderstorms around there. Rain could be expected as far east as Monroe and Jackson on that day, while we still keep most of New Orleans dry, but look how high the temperature gets for New Orleans. 67 degrees on Sunday. I think the snow will be melted by that time, honestly, even though they've gotten quite a bit. As for the high in Dallas and Little Rock, a little cooler, even though it's just going to be only cloud cover. Highs are only in the upper 40s compared to the upper 60s in New Orleans. So, yeah, intriguing forecast all around, but I don't think we're going to be too bad, except for Sunday. Again, watch out for that rain, especially in Houston or here in the Arklatex here for your Sunday. And then, yeah, New Orleans is looking to improve their road conditions. They've already opened up a number of roads, which is good news down there. And most of their snow paradise is slowly melting away, especially with that high on 67 on Sunday. All right, we'll recap this episode after a quick break. Stick with us. We'll look forward to what next week's worth of First Alert Weather Breakdown podcast has in store for you coming up after this. All right, welcome back to First Alert with a Breakdown. Thank you for watching this week's worth of episodes. We got to witness something historic, something that hasn't happened in over a century across many areas to our south. You remember we were talking about winter storm warnings in effect from Corpus Christi through Houston, through New Orleans, through South Alabama, South Mississippi, through Florida, through South Georgia. I'm still not done. Through the Carolinas, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, even Wilmington, North Carolina. All those areas had snow. Wow. And I don't think I think they'll go underappreciated, because I know when it comes to most of the snow event, especially us here locally, we'll obviously turn to areas just close to us. I mean, for good measure. My family also is down in New Orleans here, so it's really cool to just talk about family members close to us, close off to our south in southeastern Texas, and southern Louisiana that got incredible amount of snowfall. I get to say several firsts this week, such as it's snowing in everywhere in Louisiana except here. That might be the first time and only time I ever say that. Just really cool this entire work week. I know we pretty much extensively went over that winter storm, but for good measure. For good measure. Quite a historic thing to witness. Weather's a beautiful thing. Weather is a beautiful thing. It also reminded me of kind of that Christmas tale where I think it was cold and heat miser switch places. I mean, there's also tales about how areas way up to our north have less of a snowpack than what New Orleans just got from one day alone. It wasn't just the fact that it snowed; it was the fact of how much it snowed as well. It was just really incredible. Anyways, that was this week's worth of podcast here for First Alert Weather Breakdown. Thanks for coming along for the journey. If you have any topics you want us to discuss on the First Alert Weather Breakdown, anything weather-wise you want us to talk about, you can email us at weatherbreakdown@ksla.com. You can also message us on Facebook. Any of us on the First Alert Weather Team, me, CJ Austin, or Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones. You can talk to us, give us some ideas. Because I know we've been running on this on ourselves, but people do give us ideas from time to time, and we greatly appreciate them, because we want this podcast to be for you. This podcast isn't for me. I mean, yes, sure, this allows me to be a weather nerd, but heck, I can sit up here and talk about anything weather-wise. Next week, we're going to go over California wildfires. I do know that. We're also going to try to talk to a meteorologist down in New Orleans who witnessed the snow himself and was able to forecast that and see everything kind of unfold before his eyes. Really cool for him. That's something really cool we're going to try to get here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown next week. Yeah, enough to look forward to other episodes. Monday, come time Monday. Again, not only did the snow happen in the southeast, but that same exact storm, as it went across the Atlantic Ocean, hit Ireland and UK essentially as a hurricane today. We're going to go over that extensively on Monday, see exactly what happened, because I think that's an underlying international story. I know we don't go over too many international stories, but I think that's a really intriguing one because it made history in Ireland and UK. Hopefully those people are okay over there, honestly. We'll see, and we'll check out the latest coming up on First Alert Weather Breakdown on Monday. Monday is our next episode at 10:30. I'll be off 2 days on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you have a great weekend after you have a nice day today with the sunshine for your Friday. Make the most of it before we do have rain coming on Sunday. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge has your coverage all weekend long for both, yes, Saturday and Sunday. For me, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. You have a great weekend. I will talk to you all later. Again, have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday, 10:30 on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Have a great one. See you later.